Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of the D&N Show where I am your host, D-Nag, and today I want to talk about my picks for this week as we are just starting the games here because it is 12:15-ish, 12:13, 12:15 right now as I'm recording, so I'm going to do the picks before the games, get further along. Today starting, I have the Steelers versus the Browns. I have the Steelers hopefully winning this game. I hope that they can get something done against the Browns, but, usually they kind of choke some games away. So that's what I'm hoping. I'm hoping the Steelers can win this game. Next, I have the Raiders versus the Dolphins. I have the Dolphins winning this game. Hopefully they can come back and get something done. Showing that they kind of slide against teams that are doing okay. But yeah, I have the Dolphins winning this game. The Bears versus the Lions. I have the Lions winning this game because I don't think the Bears are going to do much against a team like the Lions because the Lions are really well put together. I think they are a really good team this year, and I think they'll make a deep playoff run. Next, the Titans versus the Jaguars. I have the Jaguars winning this game because I don't think the Titans are going to do anything much else this year. I don't foresee them being a team now that they've benched Ryan Tannehill. I think they'll start getting some camaraderie going with their team, but I don't think it's going to happen yet. Next, the Chargers versus the Packers. I have the Chargers winning this game because I don't believe the Packers are a good team this year. They put up a good fight last week against Pittsburgh, but I don't think there's going to be much of anything this year from the Packers. So I think the Chargers are going to win this game today. Cardinals and the Texans. I have the Texans winning this game. I think so far they're losing right now 7-0 against the Cardinals, but it's still early in the game. But I think CJ Stroud has been playing really, really well this year, and I think he's going to continue to win. I don't foresee them being a playoff team yet, like a really good playoff team yet, I should say. But I think eventually, they will be a good playoff team when it comes to the Texans. Cowboys and the Panthers. I have the Cowboys winning this game because it's the Panthers. The Cowboys should run through this team fairly easily, considering they do well against teams that have a losing record, and then when it comes to teams that win, they kind of struggle sometimes. So I think the Cowboys are going to win this game. Next, the Giants and the Commanders. Now this one's kind of a crutch match, if you will. Not necessarily, but it's not a good matchup that I'm looking forward to compared to other ones. But I have the Commanders winning this game because now that Daniel Jones is out, the Giants are not a good team at all, I think. I don't even think Daniel Jones has been doing very good this year at all. But now that he's out, that team's just not good, and I think they need to. I think they need to figure out what they want to do with their future. But I don't think, as far as I've seen this year, I don't think it's Daniel Jones. I really don't think so. Next up, the Buccaneers versus the 49ers. I think the 49ers are going to win this game, considering they're a better team than the Buccaneers. Now, Baker Mayfield has been doing really well this year for the Bucs. I will give him that. I think that they should have taken him. They should have kept him over Watson. But what do you do when you get a younger guy like that? But then again, the Browns. I will give credit to Baker Mayfield when it comes to the Browns. He did really well for them, considering that he went in to Heinz Field when it was Heinz Field, I believe. Beat Pittsburgh to get into the playoffs, and then came in the next round in the playoffs and beat them again. So which I will give credit to Baker Mayfield where it's due. He did really well for them at the end, but in the end, unfortunately, with the NFL, it's kind of it's business. The organizations don't care as much for their players as much as I think they should, especially when it comes to the running backs. I really think the running backs is a very abused position now, considering that they let these running backs get abused and beaten up, and then they don't extend them, and then they let them, extend them out of their prime, and then that's it. And then they go off and they get very low contracts compared to getting a long-time contracts like quarterbacks do. But anyway, Jets versus the Bills. I actually think the Jets are going to win this one. I think this is going to be an upset. Considering the Bills are struggling a little bit now, I think. If I'm doing right. The Bills have a lot of problems right now with Josh Allen, but I don't think they're going to win this game today. I think the Jets are going to win this game. Next, we have the Seahawks versus the Rams. I have the Seahawks winning because I think they're an okay team. They're not bad. They're one of those kind of mid-area teams, considering their quarterback's Geno Smith still. But I think the Seahawks are going to get it done today against the Rams. Now, on Sunday Night Football, we have the Vikings versus the Broncos. Now, considering how well the Broncos played last week, I think the Vikings are going to win this game, considering I think Joshua Dobbs is a good quarterback right now for the Vikings, considering Kirk Cousins is out for the season. So I think the Vikings are going to actually win against the Broncos today. And then on Monday Night Football, this is the matchup that I think I'm looking forward to outside of, obviously, Pittsburgh. I think the Chiefs are going to beat the Eagles when it comes to the Eagles versus the Chiefs on Monday Night Football. I think they do. Now, I think it's going to be a good one. Obviously, it's a Super Bowl rematch. Yeah, Super Bowl rematch. But I think it's going to be a tough game for the Chiefs, but I think they'll pull it out and win. So, yeah, that's what I have for that. Now, what I wanted to say, while I'm talking about picks, I'm going to make my picks now for the Thanksgiving games. Because considering, every year they have the same, they have the Lions and the Cowboys playing on Thanksgiving as a tradition. So I think when it comes to the Packers versus the Lions, I have the Lions winning that game because, again, the Lions are a very well put together team, and I think they're still going to keep continuing to rumble, and they're going to win some games. Next, we have the Commanders versus the Cowboys. Again, it's like this week. Commanders, I don't think they'll have I think they'll have a chance against the Cowboys, but I don't think they'll have much. I think for some reason the Cowboys usually win the games that they're supposed to win, and then when they go to games that are going to be a tough matchup, they lose. So I think the Cowboys are going to win. Now next, the late game on Thursday, the 49ers versus the Seahawks. I have the 49ers beating the Seahawks because I think the 49ers are a little bit better team than the Seahawks are. Well, considering their defense is really tough now when you got Chase Young and Nick Bosa. On the ends. So I think 49ers are going to win this against the Seahawks on Thursday. So one thing I wanted to talk about is I really think that the NFL needs to look into their fields. Considering we have seen so many season-ending injuries this year. Like, it is crazy how many injuries we've had this year. I'm talking Kirk Cousins, Aaron Rodgers tore his Achilles. Now, I'm surprised he's even coming back, but he tore his Achilles. You've seen so many people this year, even like Pittsburgh, like both of their middle linebackers that they had, they're both injured this year, season-ending injuries. Quan Alexander, Quan Alexander, and Cole Holcomb. Now, those guys were doing really well. Really well for Pittsburgh when it comes to middle linebackers, and then they kind of... It happens. But I think it's happened way more than it should have, than it should be this year. I mean, almost every week you see at least one or two players that have season-ending injuries at this point. I mean, it is crazy. So I think they should really look into their fields because the artificial turfs are not doing it. They need to go back to, as much as they're easier to maintain and blah, 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 they need to go back to natural grass. Because this is getting a little ridiculous. These players are getting hurt. Like, just flat out hurt. I mean, what more do you have to do? Like, do you have to have, like, every player on every, all the starting players on several teams get injured because of your field before you have to look at it and be like, okay, maybe we're doing something wrong? Now, this is just my opinion, but I think it sucks. It sucks to see so many people getting injured this year. I mean, normally, yes, it's football. You're going to have injuries, but season-ending injuries are ridiculously high this year. I mean, some of them you can't really say, but like when it comes to ACLs, when like the ACL tears or the Achilles tears that have been happening in this year, those two are so high this year. Like sometimes you see them here and there, but this year for some reason they have been ridiculously high. Like I want to say there's at least like 5, maybe 6 players this year popped their Achilles. 10 ACL. Or had some really bad knee injuries. But it's been so much people that have been getting injuries, it's ridiculous. And another thing, I really, really believe that the NFL is ridiculously stupid for fining players that are trying to play football. This has gone nuts. Like, I think Josh Jacobs got fined $22,000 last week for a play that he normally does just fine. Like, doesn't even lower the helmet, like trucks a dude and then keeps running. It happens. A running back, when he gets a full head of steam, is going to do that. Let them play football. Like, they are robbing these players of some players, they are robbing these players of their money just because they want to. Just because they say, oh, it was a bad hit. But it's football. I mean, I get it. When plays are like clearly malicious and rough, like somebody leads with their full head the crown on their helmet trying to tackle a player, yeah, I get it. But players that are making just normal plays is unbelievably stupid. I mean, anyway, it's stupid. I mean, especially the unsportsmanlike conducts and like roughing the passer calls that have gotten called this year are unbelievably stupid. Like, I just don't get it because you see like people making form tackles and they're getting form tackles on the quarterback and it's roughing the passer, but then when people get hurt, like a couple weeks ago when Kenny Pickett got hurt on a hit, no roughing the passer call. Like, this is stupid. It's utterly stupid. I mean, you see me like, oh great, roughing the passer, I'm gonna bail out another team. It's pointless. It really is. The NFL needs to go over their officiating and go back to and figure out what they're trying to do because they're trying to do too much. And I get it, player safety, yada, yada, yada. I'm not saying player safety's wrong. I'm saying it's a good thing to make sure that these guys aren't getting hurt long term, but like you're doing too much. Some of these tackles are form tackles just fine, and you're flagging them and you're fining them. Like, I don't get it. I just don't get it. NBA wise, I think so far the season's doing okay this year. I can like it. I think the Lakers are struggling. Sometimes when LeBron, they need to find somebody who can actually score when it comes to being LeBron off the court, because when he's on the court, they're scoring, but when he's not, they suck. That's what I think about the Lakers, but the Heat just lost to the Bulls the other night, or last night, which they went out to a 20-1 start and then ended up losing the game. So they ended up snapping their 7-game winning streak, but they're still 8-4, which I'm okay with that. Minnesota, on the other hand, I did see that it was the first time in quite a long time that both Minnesota Vikings and the Minnesota Timberwolves were on a 5-game winning streak recently. I think Minnesota Timberwolves, they are doing really well this year. I mean, they are in the mindset like taking no prisoners. Like, they are killing people this year. Like, they're doing insanely well. I mean, that's what I think, because some props to them, because, I mean, they need some. Anthony Edwards has been playing out of his mind, and I think that Minnesota really needs it. Really needs a team that is doing really well when it comes to basketball and football, because lately they haven't been doing so much, but I think they're doing really well this year. That's all I really got to say about basketball so far. Gaming-wise, I'm trying to figure out a game to play for you guys that's different than Spider-Man 2 this week. I might go back to Assassin's Creed for one of the videos, but I want to try and find a different one maybe for the other one. But I'll figure it out, and we'll see, because I want to keep it kind of fresh. I do know, I think I'm going to give Suicide Squad a try when it comes out in February of this next year. I think it looked good enough. I'm going to give it a chance regardless, because I think most of it is people just bandwagon hating on games, because it doesn't look like Batman, considering it's from that universe, but it doesn't look quite like Batman. But I'm going to give it a chance. But that's the only game so far that I know that I'm really looking forward to, because I don't think any other games are coming out this year that I was really hoping to play. Yeah. But I don't have much for gaming news. Otherwise, I'm going to try to figure out different games for Tuesday and Thursday. But that's about it. So that's all that I have today. Just a quick D&N Show episode. Hopefully at some point we'll be able to do a D&N Show with me and Natsu, or Mr. Natsu, but just scheduling issues. He's still on the show, but we're trying our best to get you a D&N Show with both of us. So that's about it. That's all I got for today. Enjoy your Sunday. Enjoy the Sunday football. Happy Thanksgiving, since you won't see me on the D&N Show until next Sunday. Until Sunday after Thanksgiving. So if you're still watching up until this point, happy Thanksgiving. Let me know what you're looking forward to for Thanksgiving in the comments. Yeah. So without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, without further going on, I will see y'all in the next one. Deuces.